Professor Y on Covert Operations and Intelligence. In our fully developed state capitalist system, we have found absolute control of governmental intelligence gathering and covert operations to be vital. Besides providing a valuable tool in our struggle with rival dynasties, such control is now an integral and necessary part of our day-to-day operations. Large intelligence communities are inevitable, given the system of all-encompassing governments which we have imposed upon the world during our ascent to power. Our power would be short-lived, indeed, if the pervasive influence and power of these iron-disciplined intelligence agencies fell into the hands of mere politicians, especially those beyond our control. We do not allow the intelligence agencies to pursue the national interest the way the public conceives spies to operate. Politicians cannot be permitted to divert the power and influence of our intelligence community from the esoteric requirements of our money power to petty political struggles. Neither nationalistic aspirations of races, of people, nor ideological visions of intellectuals for humanity can even be allowed to pervert intelligence and covert operations. Our rationalizations, both within the intelligence community and to the public at large, must be diverse and flexible. But the intelligence community must further, without exception, the exhonorable goals we have set for humanity. No crisis is more serious for our money power than an attempt by a head of government to assume personal control of intelligence and operations, or bypass existing agencies by setting up parallel ones. Such intrusions must be met decisively. Although a contrived scandal to remove the offending politician from office is the first line of defense, we dare not shrink from assassination when necessary. Perhaps the most accurate overview of our intelligence community can be achieved by visualizing it as a nationalized secret society. Our predecessors, in their struggle against the old order of kings and princes, had to finance secret societies such as the Illuminati, Masons, German Union, and etc., out of their own pockets. At great expense and risk, such secret societies were able to infiltrate the major governmental and private institutions of the nations that our noble predecessors targeted for takeover by the money power. Such bureaucratic takeovers are expensive and time-consuming. They can be considered complete only when promotions, raises, and advancements are no longer based on objective service to the state organization objectives, but are in the hands of the infiltrating group and its secret goals. How much easier is it for us, the inheritors of the fully developed state capitalist system? By appealing to national security, we are able to finance and erect secret societies of a colossal scope, far beyond the wildest dreams of our path-breaking predecessors. Besides the benefit of public financing reaped by these nationalized secret societies, we obtain a decisive advantage from the fact that these, our spook operations, are sanctioned by law. Maintaining discipline, loyalty, and secrecy is no longer solely a matter of propaganda, blackmail, patronage, and intimidation, although these remain important tools. Especially in emergency cases, ordinary discipline among initiates, now called agents, can be encouraged by appealing to patriotism and can be enforced in courts of law by prosecuting national security violations. As massive as our intelligence community has become in itself, we still operate strictly on the finance capitalist principle of leverage. Just as a rational finance capitalist never owns more stock in a corporation than the bare minimum required for control, intelligence operatives are placed only in as many key positions as are required to control the target organizations. Our goal, after all, is agent control of all significant organizations, not intelligence community membership for the entire population. The organizational pattern of baffling circles within circles characteristic of classical secret societies is retained and refined by our intelligence community. That one hand not knowing what the other is doing is essential to the success of our operations. In most cases, we do not allow the prospective operatives themselves to know the ultimate, and when possible even the short-range objectives of their assignments. They operate under covers that disguise our goals not only from the public and target groups, but from the agents themselves. For instance, many agents operating under left cover are led to believe that the agency, or at least their department, is secretly but sincerely motivated by a socialistic ideology. Thus, they assume that the intelligence agency's ultimate goal is to guide left-wing groups in productive directions, even though they cannot always see how their own assignments fit into the assumed goals. Other left-wing agents, or left-cover agents, those with right-wing predilections, pre, predilections, are encouraged to believe that agency is simply monitoring violence-prone, subversive groups in order to protect the public. When such agents are asked to participate in or even lead radical activity, they assume that the ultimate objective is to fully infiltrate and destroy the organizations for the good of the country. This is very seldom the case. We waste little or no money protecting the public or defending the nation. Agents operating under right cover are handled in a systematic fashion. Agents with right-wing prejudices are encouraged to believe the agency is right-winged. Left prejudiced agents are asked to operate under right cover in order to monitor dangerous rightist organizations. Most intelligence agents remain blithely ignorant of the big picture which is so clear to us from our spectacular vantage point. Very few have enough information or intelligence to reason out how their specific and sometimes baffling assignments promote the legislative, judicial, and operational and propaganda needs of our money power. Most would never try. They are paid too much to think about such things. Agents with a gangsta cover are of two types. First, there is the sincere gangster that draws his salary from an intelligence agency. He is led to believe that the gangland godfathers control the government agencies for their own purposes. Actually, the situation is the opposite. The agencies control the gangster for other purposes. Second is the sincere crime fighter who is led to believe that the agency is attempting to infiltrate and monitor the gangsters as a preliminary step to destroying organized crime. Such upstanding agents commit many crimes in their zeal to rid the country of organized crime. To envision how we operate in this lucrative field, let's briefly look at the mechanics of dope smuggling. Police and customs officials are told to leave certain gangsters alone, even when transporting suspicious cargo. This is made to seem perfectly proper since it is well known that secret police infiltrators of organized crime must participate in crimes in order to gain the confidence of gangsters. What customs agents would want to upset a carefully laid plan to set up the underworld kingpin of dope pushing? But the agent, as well as the police who cooperate, are mistaken in believing that the purpose of the assignment is to help smuggle dope is ultimately to smash organized crime. If he could see the big picture as we can, the agent would see that practically all our dope is smuggled by federal intelligence agencies and secret police. However, could such a volume be transported safely? Read harassment and prosecution and reserved for those who enter the field without our approval. Here is our organized crime strategy. On the one hand, we pass laws to ensure that mankind's favorite pastimes or vices are illegal. On the other hand, we cater to these vices at a huge monopoly profit with complete immunity from prosecution. A new and growing methodology of our intelligence community is psychologically and drug controlled agents. Properly, these are referred to as behavior modified agents, or in the vernacular, zombies. With the use of hypnotic drugs, brainwashing, sensory deprivation, small group sensitivity training, and other behavior modification techniques, the scope of which has hinted in the movie Clockwork Orange, complete personalities can be manufactured from scratch to the specifications of value structure profiles we designed by computer to suit our purposes. Such personalities are quite neurotic and unstable due to defects in our still developing technology, but still useful for many purposes. The primary virtue of zombies, of course, is loyalty. Agents that are subconsciously programmed from the assignment at hand cannot be conscious traitors. All a zombie can do is reveal how compulsive and psychotic he is with regards to his cause. Even to trained psychologists he simply appears to be a proverbial lone nut. Although the zombie may have memories of psychotherapy at a government agency when questioned under hypnosis, this is unlikely to raise suspicion in the mind of court-appointed psychologists. After all, lone nuts should be kept in insane asylums and subject to psychotherapy. At most, the governmental hospital will be reprimanded for letting a loony loose before he was cured. Until our techniques can be perfected, the use of zombies must be restricted to national dramas, designed to justify the growing power of the centralized governments over the lives of people. Most suicidal radicals and crazies who so mysteriously avoid arrest for years at a time are zombies conditioned to terrorize the public in the name of some irrational ideology. After repeat doses of such terror, the public is conditioned to accept the necessity of our intrusive police state with very little objection. The way is clear for an accelerated program of behavior modifications research to be conducted mostly at public expense in the name of mental health and rehabilitation. Such research can be conducted with little complaint in prisons, refugee camps, drug rehabilitation centers, government hospitals, veterans hospitals, and even public schools and daycare centers. Mental institutions, methadone maintenance centers, and prisons are fertile fields for recruiting the deranged or drug addicted person most suitable for zombie conversions. Of course, only a few of our most trusted agents actually participate in the creation of zombies. The brilliant researchers and experimenters who make most of the breakthrough earnestly believe that their techniques are destined strictly for the betterment of mankind. Inevitably, a fraction of the population objects to behavior modification as an infringement of man's sacred free will, even if they are convinced that our intentions are benign. We carefully leak a few scandals to satisfy such persons that our experiments are being kept within bounds that are excessive and being stopped. Our artificial scandals exposing the excesses of coercive psychology and carefully designed to make the researchers seem incompetent and clumsy to point of maiming and killing their patents. This effectively conceals the fantastic strides we have made towards total behavioral control. Great things are going to be possible in the future. I now return the floor to your father for his concluding remarks.